Hi and welcome to The Curve Weekly, the podcast that keeps you up to date with all the money, business and stock market tea.
Everyone should experience first class at least once in their lives, and Annie shouldn't miss out just because she can't afford it.
Help me, I'm poor.
The weirdest thing just happened. Well, actually, not just then, but like 2 hours ago. So we work from the City Works depot. That's where we sort of work out of when we're in Auckland. And I've been complaining about my skin for I don't know. And you know when you're an adult and you get acne and it just sucks and you feel so...
And you're like, puberty is over. Why am I still getting this? Yeah.
And I don't know, it's been like really getting me down lately, just my skin and feeling like a teenager. I've definitely just had like shit pimples popping up everywhere and I'm off it. Anyway, we were waiting for our drinks and we ran into Emma Lewisham, who has this New Zealand skincare brand, and she just has the most beautiful skin. And I was like, oh, of course, like flawless, beautiful. And here I am with just pimples out. And I just don't know what happened, but I had a bit of a overshare moment. And I was like, oh, I'm just so sick of my skin. Do you have any tips?
And she's like, well, funny you say that. Come with me.
No, but also, you know how you can tell when people are super passionate about their work and I don't know, there's a difference between just selling products and then actually really believing in what you're doing. And she started talking about the science of this new product she'd brought out and how it helps with, it's like, I think I might be getting this wrong, but something about probiotics and how sometimes your face is breeding too much something or other and you've got to stop the production of it. Anyway, she was so sweet. Yeah. She took both of us into the Emma Lewisham offices and was like, here you go, try these out. And gave me all, I was like, oh my God, I actually feel like I could burst into tears.
But it is true. It's like when your skin is really bad, all you want to do is put so much product on to try and make it better. And you're like, okay, I'm going to try, if it's too oily, I'm going to try heaps of products to dry it out and vice versa. And the best thing, which is what she said, is to just strip it back to basics. And it's so true. Whenever you have breakouts, a rash, oily, I don't know. That's what I find is you just go back to the real basics. And because the more you try and do, the more it kind of infuriates it.
Hey, what's happening in the stock market?
I'm glad you asked, Soph.
Yeah, I can't wait. Fill me in.
Well, there has been a lot going on this week, last week, will be next week because it's reporting season. So, whoa-wee, it's a big week.
Really?
Meta? That's the reaction I'm after.
No, I just went wow and really, which it keeps happening to me, slurring two words into one. Wee.
Yes, we have Meta, we have Amazon, we have Microsoft, we have Alphabet, which is Google, and we have Apple. So lots of big companies reporting results this week. And the key thing with these large companies reporting their results is that because they're so massive, because they've got such a presence in so many different countries all over the world, they're a really good barometer for how the world is doing. So people look at their results with a microscope. So we had Alphabet's result, which was actually quite bad. The stock price fell about 6% on the day. And that's all because Google is seeing a real slowdown in advertising growth. So companies not spending as much on Google ads, for example. And they've announced a massive investment into servers and data centers for their AI. So they're investing $11 billion into hardware to service their investment in AI. So that's massive, $11 billion.
That's a huge amount of money.
I know. I can't even fathom. I wish I knew what that was to the moon and back. You know how people are like, that's $100 notes stacked on top of each other to the moon and back. You know, that is a lot of money.
So do you think the fact that they're investing $11 billion into this is a pretty good indication that, Alphabet's an enormous company. There's obviously incredibly intelligent people running it. The fact that they're investing so much in AI, do you think it's a big tick in terms of AI, the opportunities they must be seeing and the growth that they'll see from that investment is obviously really massive?
A good question. It's always quite risky because investors, they want to see companies investing for future growth to a point. They don't want to see companies investing and spending billions or millions of dollars and then not seeing any results from it and not seeing any growth or any traction. There's some investors that are like, oh, is this quite risky by Google? Or is this going to pay off? And that's where your decision as an investor, you would look at that headline and go, oh, amazing, they're investing 11 billion. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to invest more money into Alphabet. Or you might, as an investor, go, oh gosh, I don't think Google's going to win this artificial intelligence race. I think, it might be Amazon or someone else, Apple or Microsoft. So I'm actually going to not invest in Alphabet. So,
but sorry, what do you mean, Vic, in terms of the race? Like, isn't the whole point that it's going to be something that all of these companies will be implementing and benefiting from? It's not as though there's one AI platform and whoever gets there first is going to be the winner. Like, isn't it probably quite a good sign if all of these companies, all of them are investing in it because they all see opportunity?
Totally.
Like, wouldn't it be more scary if you were to look at it and see, okay, Meta and Alphabet are investing all this money in AI, but Microsoft and so are deciding not to? Then it would be way more, opinion based on whether or not AI is a good idea. If all of them are doing it, I don't know.
Good question. No, yes, you're right. The whole AI space is growing and it's going to permeate into lots of different areas of our lives. But with all these big companies, there's only so much market share, or there's only so much space for a new technology. So someone's going to win that race. Yes, they all might benefit, but someone's going to be the dominant go-to for AI, or someone's going to be the dominant go-to for search, like Google is. Someone's going to be the go-to for social media. Like a lot of companies start out trying to win the race, and then there's usually one that is the go-to for everyone. Yeah, there's lots of, and when I say win the race, it's metaphorical. It's not like, cool, you've won. But right now, Microsoft looks like it's winning the race. They've got the investment in ChatGPT. Their investors have been able to see the benefits of their investment in AI. So right now, from an investor point of view, they are winning the race in terms of AI, and that's been reflected in the share price. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, so would a good way of thinking about it be if you look at Netflix and the fact that they are they were the first in market, and when people talk about like Netflix and chill, the brand that they use is Netflix. Similarly with, not normal taxis where you say Uber, but there's also a million other brands. So it's like, yes, there's going to be lots of people that have the same type of business, i.e. incorporating AI into whatever they're doing, but there'll be the one main leader who is kind of like the iconic AI central business, kind of.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The go-to, when you say AI, you think of Microsoft. It means you have less advertising. Naturally, people are going to gravitate towards your product when they're wanting to do that service or use that product. So there's like mountains of benefits. But yes, right now, Microsoft is metaphorically winning the AI race. And that's been reflected in their share price. They're now the biggest company in the world. They've beaten Apple. They had a really good result as well this week. Revenue of $60 billion in just 3 months, which is wild. And they all talked about AI. So the management team all talked to investors, and all they were talking about was AI and their investment in AI. So it looks like at the moment they're winning the race. Anyway, we have Boeing as well. Boeing's result was really bad.
Oh, is this the broken aircraft that like was falling out of the sky or something?
Yes. And one thing they did is that they didn't give investors an indication of what the future outlook would be. They did what they suspended guidance. So they said, we're not going to give you an indication of what our year looks like for the year ahead, which is never a good sign.
Why would they say that? Isn't that going to freak everyone out?
Yeah, but they don't know. Because they've had such an issue with these doors and with these parts of the plane, they literally do not know what the year is going to look like, which for investors, you're like, oh gosh, well, if you don't know, I don't know, so see you later. That
must be terrifying for people in the company, like the idea of not even knowing if your business is going to be around.
I think it'll be around. Sorry, I think they just don't know what the year is going to look like in terms of, will they produce $10 billion of profit? Will they produce $100 billion? It just means it's such a mind fuck, excuse my language, to forecast right now that they're just not even going to bother, is kind of what they're saying.
Also, for anyone that missed it, the Boeing, there was like an issue with one of the aircrafts where like a door fell off. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
And so obviously not ideal in terms of being like, oh, shit balls, we can't have these planes in the air, because if there's doors flying off, hazard for people on the plane, off the plane.
And then all the customers who had ordered planes from Boeing were like, you know what, we want to cancel our order, or we want to reduce our order, or we want a different type of plane. So just caused lots and lots of issues in terms of Boeing's product, really. H&M, they are seeing less people spending on clothing, which we're kind of seeing amongst peers, our friends. Well, I'm definitely seeing that. People are like, you know what, I just don't have the extra cash to spend. So
interesting you say that though, because I've got a lot of friends, including myself, who don't really want to be buying from H&M or Zara or any of the fast fashion labels, but to be spending and investing money in quality pieces is really hard at the moment. So there's kind of the flip side where it's like there is some stuff that's a necessity, whether it's a T-shirt or a jumper or hoodie. And, you know, maybe a couple of years ago you might have bought something that was a little bit higher quality.
Yeah.
But now it's just not an option. Like when we were in London and we needed socks and I needed a new hoodie and Flowerman needed something, we all went there together and we were all trying on like T-shirts and hoodies. And actually that reminds me, I still haven't paid him back for that hoodie. Oh my God.
I know.
Can you please tell him?
He mentioned it the other day. I was like, well, hit her up. He's like, no, it's fine.
Oh my God, can you please ask him?
About it. I'm sorry.
So awkward. Oh my God, Kate.
No, but I hate someone that's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And then they're like, oh, actually, that girl still is.
Or it's like, you know, someone's like, don't worry. Oh, that fucking Victoria, she keeps doing, you know, and it's like, well, if you've got a problem, just say it to my face. But anyway, if you could please find out how much that was, or I can look online. Can you find his account so I can transfer him? That's so incredibly awkward. But the point was, all of us needed essentials, and rather than going somewhere that was like,
we have a joint account, so you can just chuck it in the joint account.
Excuse me. Sorry, what? Do you actually? Is this a joke? I can't tell if you're being serious. Do you?
I'm being serious, yes.
What? Since when did you have a joint account? For what?
It was just easier because I hate going out for brunch or whatever, and it's like, I'll get this. Oh no, I'll get this. It's like, oh God, let's just chuck it on the joint account.
But hold on, sorry.
It's so much easier.
You can't drop shit like that on me without like, what?
It's not a big deal, Soph.
No, I know it's not, but I just need to understand, is this for like personal fun stuff? Because you don't live together.
Yes.
So what's the like, so it's literally just for like a fun
account.
It's
for when we're out together. Yeah, it's like.
That's a good idea.
We can spend money on food. I just hate, there's nothing I hate more than having an argument at the till and the waitress is standing there like looking at you like, oh, can you just hurry the F up? And you're like, no, I'll get it. No, I'll get it. No, I'll get it. And I hate that. So.
But don't you think it's also something kind of nice about being like, I'll get this one, you get the next. Like, is that not?
Yeah, but then you can get that on your personal account.
Oh,
don't spend the joint account. You're like, I want to treat you. Treat you. I'll get this. And like over summer, we were like traveling around using petrol and, you know, just like stuff like that. Which I didn't realize how many they had. So they've got about 2,000 stores in the Middle East, and they're being impacted by the war. So obviously people aren't going to get a Starbucks. And so, yeah, quite interesting to see that that's impacting the overall business so much. And they've got about 35,000 stores. So it's only a small amount, but it's impacting them quite significantly. So yes, interesting. But we did have some really exciting news. And I love it when we educate our audience about something and then it happens and you're like, yes,
you can give an example on something.
Yeah, it's like a real life example. And so we talk about stock splits. So this is when a company, their share price is done really well and they're like, you know what, let's split our stock so that it's more affordable for more people. So say your company's stock was at $200 and you did a 2-for-1 stock split, which means that you're splitting every share into two. So your share price would go from 200 to 100 and 100. And so as an investor, the overall amount that I've invested in that business doesn't change, just the makeup does, because the price is lowered, but the number of shares I've got has increased in order to make sure that the amount I've invested isn't changed. This is deemed as a good thing because when a share price increases, that's when a company wants to usually split its stock. So it's like, wow, this company's share price has done so well, we need to split it to make it accessible for more people. But this is one of the reasons why the company, I haven't even mentioned the company that was doing this, is Walmart. So Walmart has just announced this, that they're doing a 3-for-1 stock split. So for every share you have of Walmart, that share gets divided into three shares. So people that have Walmart shares might wake up and be like, whoa, how come I've got so many more now? But the value of my amount that I've invested in Walmart stays the same. It's because they've had a stock split. And they've done it because they want their store workers to be able to buy more shares, which is actually quite cool. So for a lot of people that work at Walmart, they're probably not on massive salaries. And so being able to buy one share, which is $165 is probably a bit unobtainable. So they're like, hey, let's split the stock. And therefore staff can buy shares if they want. So quite nice. And this is the 12th stock split that Walmart's done because the share price has done so well. So
12, wow.
Yeah, 12. Quite amazing. Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask you one more quick thing? What's like an overarching learning for people listening from reporting season? Like, what are some key takeaways where you look at this and you're like, oh, this is all really interesting stuff. But like at the start, you said it's a good indication for like overall economy growth and other big kind of markers. So what are some key takeaways that we can all know?
Yeah, I think firstly, I was a bit skeptical going into this reporting season because I'm not sure if you remember, but last week we spoke about how the S&P 500, so the main stock market in the US, was reaching all-time highs. So it's at levels that we'd never seen before. And so that gives me a bit of concern, kind of freaks me out a bit because everyone's expectations are really high. And then you get companies reporting where the revenue's probably not as good as they thought, or the profit's not as good, or that, all that kind of thing. And so when you're going into a reporting season with the stock market doing so well, there is a tendency for it to fall, or because expectations are so light. So yeah, it's just kind of, it's a hard one because we're also not trying to concern ourselves with short-term movements of the stock market. But one takeaway I would say is that I think AI is going to be massive. We kind of know, but that's definitely one of the most common comments or subjects that's been talked about in reporting season. The other takeaway I would say is if you are stock picking and you've invested in some companies that you like the sound of and you think are going to grow, definitely have a look at what they've reported, making sure nothing's changed massively in terms of their growth outlook. You know, they're not getting beaten up by a competitor or anything like that. It's a good time to do a check-in of the stocks that you hold and go, oh yeah, cool, that's all right. Or oh, actually, that's worse than I thought. Maybe it's time that I sell out of that or buy something else, or it might throw up some new ideas for you to invest in. But most people, it's kind of a cool, nice, and move on. Especially if you're a passive investor and you're just investing in ETFs, then it's kind of a nice to know. But yeah.
And if you're wondering what any of those things are, like ETFs or passive or reporting documents and looking at financial results and all that, we are doing the Foundations of Investing, which is our 6-week foundation course, essentially to learn everything you need to know to be able to build your own portfolio and whatnot. And that's starting in April. It's not for a while, but if that's something in the horizon that you are interested in doing, then yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm excited. Well, I'm going to go away and write the Curve Weekly. So if anyone wants to sign up for that.
Good idea. It's actually got heaps of good like investing tips and tricks and things going on in the market. So we'll link that in our show notes, like for the podcast, but you can get it on the link in our Instagram and things as well. But
you know what we said we'd do?
Oh God, what?
We said we'd do our loud budgeting.
Oh, our loud budgeting.
Oh, you didn't have a think. What?
I didn't
come up with something else.
Can you tell me yours and I'll think of mine on the spot?
Okay. I've got 2. The second one, I just know I'm going to break. Oh, okay. The first one is limiting my takeaway coffees to 2 a week, which sounds a lot, but you know, Soph, how much I love a takeaway coffee.
That's actually huge.
So starting now, I am only having 2 takeaway coffees a week.
Can I just copy you? Is that fine? Can I do that? Because like we've got to be, we're in each other's company a lot, and that's good because it'll motivate me.
Okay. Well, the second one's going to be easy for you. You can't copy my second one.
No smoking when you move to London?
Oh my God, I do not smoke. No, it's no Uber Eats. Ooh.
Oh my God, that's massive.
I know.
Oh my God, I'm proud of you. That's huge.
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to think of my allowed budgeting and come back next week. I want to actually think about it and
We've got
commit to
one
it
joint
properly.
one and one individual one.
Yeah. I'll think of a joint. I really like that because I have been spending way too much on my on takeaway drinks lately.
So if any Uber drivers out there deliver McDonald's to my door, you can totally
eat it. You're not allowed to deliver it, in fact. If you see anyone named Victoria Harris that you're delivering to, eat it. Don't even just go to her house.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is going to be so hard when I'm hungover on a Sunday.
Good luck.
But I'm excited to hear yours.
Yeah, same. I'll think of someone, come back next week.
Okay. Yours is going to be really good. I just know it. Such an overachiever.
Oh my God, I love that. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to The Curve Weekly. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all the money, biz and stock market news. And if you like what you heard, we would love a review. Thank you.
Yes, we would love a review. But if you
Only
did
a good
hate
one.
it, please, don't leave one if you hate it. No, but in all seriousness, could you please leave a review? Because it really helps other people find our cute little podcast.
And we hope you have a good week and see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Sweet. Yeah. See you next Tuesday. Lol. See you next Tuesday. I mean Monday.